Yeah, because it is kind of like a bit of a ruin at the minute. It's a bit of a shell. It doesn't feel like the kind of cosy picture house that everybody's familiar with. But it is, what's the expression? You have to break a few eggs to make an omelette. You kind of have to rip a few holes in the walls to make to make it good again. So yeah, I know what you mean. It's kind of this in between limbo of the project before it's actually physically different.
The cinema as it's been for the last 10 or 20 years is very much like a thin snapshot of this kind of constantly changing space. And I think understanding how just the colour palette of like the wall scrapings, you've seen the weird little ice cream sandwich photos, like the idea that cinema maybe used to be like baby blue and like, hot pink at the same time or something. There's this, I think there's a lot of people who are regulars have a really firm idea of what the picture house is for them. And I think it'd be nice to be able to show them how much it's changed and how much it will have to change in the future.
I don't think that there's an impossible wish about what it could be, because the cinema is what the cinema is to so many different people, and those different people have a dream and a wish that are going to be similar or different or maybe a crossover. So that's kind of what is so wonderful about the cinema.
With the extra space, there's a pressure of expansion and opening up to new potentials that we couldn't really facilitate before, that being program-based potentially, and catering for a lot of different interests and needs. And I think there's a lot of pressure to kind of get that right straight away, and those things take time to really develop. I think you shouldn't come with all the answers, and that it's a learning space with the communities that you work with and who come and who you want to come. So I think it's that kind of uneasy balance of direction but also listening and response.
It's like taking a mould of some precious object and then turning that mould inside out to investigate its inner shape and structure. It's actually a rare opportunity to step outside of our comfortable, privileged positions within the relative safety of our independent heritage building. To see those barriers to access, both physical and cultural, and question them and vitally do something about it.
But I do think also there's just something about it will be opening with perhaps a slightly changed group of people, which is inevitable because we've had the pandemic. It's been closed for a long time and people have moved on. And there was something very nurturing about the community in that cinema, between the staff, the volunteers, all the people who were actually there, facilitating the events.
Yeah, it's difficult to know how you build that up again when you start from scratch, and how you make something that is more stable and more professional, but then when it feels like there was some magic there historically, like how do you manufacture magic and love for each other. Like there was a lot of love over the years where when people had hard times they carried each other through, and you can never force that. It was just something people chose to do. And my ideas about what was magic and what was special in the past will have been different to other people's experiences, and there will come a point where I have to let what is be, and I can't control it as much as I would like to try.